Welcome to this Values Ed Majorship Enhancement Drills. This is set 2. The questions here are from the previous let, and our goal is what? Yep, to top the board exam. Teacher Doms po, and I'm here to help you pass the board exam. Teachers, to benefit greatly from this drill, I highly suggest that you download the PDF format of this drill. Just go to the description below this video, follow the link to the website, and click the download link. Alternatively, if you don't want to print it, kasi syempre makakalikasan tayo, we want to save some trees. So you may just answer the drills by using a paper and pen. Write your answers, and then the questions are all available online. And then after answering them, come back to this video and check your answers. For this drill, set a timer at least 90 minutes. And then, if you do that, you are helping yourself by doing a self-assessment and self-evaluation. It's super duper helpful. Okay? Now, go on and answer the drill first. I'll just be waiting for you here. Don't worry, sanay akong maghintay. All the best, teacher! Now, I presume that you are already finished answering the drills. Let's go now and check your answers. This is part 1, set 2. And what is our goal? That's right, to top the board exam. Analyze each item carefully and choose the letter that represents the best answer in each item. Number 1. Miss D, a teacher for more than 20 years, was feeling a little depressed and frustrated for the past few days. She decided to take time out to evaluate some of her beliefs and values, which may be the source of what she is currently feeling. She would like to know what she needs to do, or at least embrace some healthier and more functional beliefs and values. This can be done through affirmation, feedback, introspection, self-disclosure. What's your answer, teacher? That's good. If you answer introspection, you got it. Take note, all of these options are important. However, some of them could not really address the issues being experienced by Miss D. Para silang mga tools na may iba't ibang functions. Halimbawa, ang screwdriver may ibang function kaysa sa wire cutter. Ang martilyo ay may ibang function kaysa sa laghari. Dahil si Teacher D ay mature na, the best tool she should use is option C. Introspection is a self-analysis, soul-searching, heart-searching, self-observation, contemplation, and that's it. She needs feedback, she needs affirmation, and self-disclosure. Sa taong pinagkakatiwalaan niya syempre. So, but at the end of the day, it's Miss D who has to address her personal issues. And she can use introspection. The answer is option C. Number 2. Marie wants to find out how she can evaluate her performance in order to improve personally and professionally. Which of the following should she first undertake? A. Periodically review and update her plans and continue to learn every day. Identify gaps in her knowledge or skills, and or identify attitudes which can be explored. Make a coherent plan to address any problem that may arise in her work. Identify what she has learned from seminars and implement plan. What is your answer, teacher? Ang gustong gawin ni Marie ay malaman kung paano niya masusuri ang kanyang performance. Satisfactorily ba? Average ba? Above or below average ba? Alin ang unang hakbang na dapat niyang gawin? Now, base sa mga opsyon, para masuri ni Marie ang kanyang performance, mas makakabuti na i-review niya at i-update ang kanyang plano. Kasi sa proseso ng pagre-review, maaari niyang masukat kung ang performance ba niya ay may na-accomplish sa kanyang objectives sa plano niya. Halimbawa, at the end of every quarter, let's say every 3 months, halimbawa, nire-review niya ang strat plan or strategic plan or operational plan. Tapos, Chine-checkan niya ang mga objective kung completed na ba, 100%, or partially completed, or canceled ba, or deferred, or postponed. So, ang evaluation ng performance ay base sa plano na ginagawa sa simula ng taon. If you experienced being an admin, halimbawa sa school or any organization, most probably, alam mo yung sinasabi ko na OPLAN or strat plan. Ang duration usually ng OPLAN is 1 year. This is in the level of departmental level, about day-to-day operation ng bawat department. Base sa strat plan. Ang strat plan naman, usually 3 to 5 years ang kanyang duration. It's in the corporate level or top level management. So yung OPLAN ay nakabase sa strat plan. Ngayon, ang pagre-review ng OPLAN ang basihan kung ang performance ay tumutugon sa demand ng plano. Kung hindi nakakatugon ng maayos, pwedeng i-improve o palitan ang strategies sa performances. Ngayon, kung ang concern ni Marie ay to improve personally and professionally, pwedeng ang first step niya ay option B. 'Di ba? Pero, dahil ang gusto ni Marie ay malaman, here, to find out how she can evaluate her performance, that's the main goal ni Marie dito, sa option na to, sa item na to. So, kung yun ang kanyang gustong malaman kung paano niya i-evaluate ang kanyang performance, ang unang step niya ay option A. And then, after the periodic review, sa kanya gagawin ang option B. Bakit? Para malaman kung anong kulang sa knowledge and skills niya para ma-hit o ma-reach yung mga target outcomes or KPIs, Key Performance Indicators. At kailangan din tukuyin kung aling mga pag-uugali o kaisipan ang makakatulong at hindi makakatulong na sa pag-achieve ng kanilang targets na nakalagay sa OPLAN. Then, pwede niyang isama o gawin ang option C and D before or during the drafting of the OPLAN. So, the answer here is option A. Did you get it, teacher? Okay, that's great. Good job. Number 3. Some Filipinos may choose to write their opinions in the newspaper or lobby in the Congress to express their sentiment against the Reproductive Health Bill or health law. This shows their stand or belief of a higher principle like respect for the dignity of human beings. This is a characteristic of a person in the pre-conventional stage, conventional stage, post-conventional stage, formal operational stage. What's your answer, teacher? So what's the highest level here? Yeah, that's right. Post-conventional stage. Ang post-conventional stage is characterized by people who act out of universal principles based upon the equality and worth of all human beings. They work toward the conception of the good society. They suggest that we need to protect certain individual rights and settle disputes through democratic processes. No? Hindi yung violent way. Okay, number 3 is option C. Number 4. Mang Bert is an active member of the Sangguniang Barangay. He fights corruption in the government system. He helps without hesitation and does not expect anything in return from people who help. He helps. Mang Manny is an example of one who lives up to all the others' ideals, lives up the basic values, walks his talk, is honest with oneself. What's your answer, teacher? Right. He walks his talk. Sana all. He acts with consistency and he practices what he says. So, yeah, a very good example of public servant. Sana lahat ay ganyan. Kaya lang hindi. So, number 4 ay option C. Number 5. There is a wholesome cycle involved in self-disclosure. Which of the following best describes the pattern? Self-disclosure muna, and then friendship, and then self-acceptance. Friendship muna, self-disclosure ang sunod, and then self-acceptance. Self-acceptance muna, friendship ang sunod, self-disclosure ang huli. Self-disclosure, self-acceptance, and friendship. So, alin ang sagot? What's your answer, teacher? So, the process of Self-disclosure is circular, cyclical. An individual self-discloser, so yung nag-open ng sarili, mauuna yun. Tapos sunod, yung recipient naman magre-react sa dinisclose. And then the original discloser processes the reaction. Kapag ang reaction ay positive, there is a big chance for the discloser to feel positive and more encouraged to disclose more. So, ang positive reaction ay nakakatulong for the discloser to appreciate more himself or herself. And then eventually, when the cycle of disclosure ends up going well for the discloser, there is likely to be a greater sense of relational intimacy, mas lumalalim, and then self-worth. And there is also a positive psychological effects of social support. Now, self-disclosure is a healthy and effective strategy in values education to increase the self-appreciation and positive regard of our students with themselves. But this should be used with caution and discretion. Some theories that you can check related to self-disclosure process are the social penetration theory, social comparison theory, and the Johari window. Now, going back to this item, what's your answer, teacher? So, as a cyclical pattern, so most likely the answer is option. Yep. It would be impossible to self-disclose to someone without establishing at least starter level of friendship. Kahit hindi malalim, at least may perceive na relationship, may rapport. And then after that, self-disclosure, paunti-unti. And then after that, pag positive ang reaction, acceptance. And then, dahil cyclical siya, lalalim ang friendship. At dahil malalim-lalim na ang narating, mas lumalalim din ang nadi-disclose hanggang sa ma-develop yung intimacy. Hindi ka naman magdi-disclose sa isang tao na wala pa man lang, hindi mo papakikilala, di ba? I mean, would you do that? Number 5 is option B. Number 6, some people are hesitant to go through self-reflection or introspection. A psychological reason for this could be that they simply do not have time for this. They are afraid to face their gray areas. They contend that this is not necessary since they know themselves very well. They think they are too old for change. And what's your answer, teacher? The answer here is, option B. I explained this already in, I think, item number 5 in set 1 drills. Okay? Number 7, according to Freud, children have already acquired moral principles and values which are contained in the structure of personality called ego, id, self, superego. And the answer here is superego. The superego is the moral principle. The id is the pleasure principle. And the ego is the reality principle. Number 7 is letter D. During 13 to 18 years of age, the adolescent experiences pressure and confusion. Teachers can facilitate every student's capacity to resolve the pressure and confusion by giving special attention to him or her, helping him or her develop effective strategies to handle present problems, talking to the student about his or her life stories and problem, telling the parents about the problems of their child. What is your answer, teacher? All of these options are pwedeng gawin ni teacher. Pwede mong gawin as a teacher to resolve the teens' experiences of pressure and confusion. In option A, yes, it's important that the teacher gives attention to his or her student. And then what's next? What kind of special attention? So this option is not so clear. In option B, sinasabi dito na tulungan dapat ni teacher na magkaroon ng epektibong estratehiya para matuto sila kung paano solusyonan o i-handle ang kasalukuyang problema na nararanasan. Halimbawa, Ang problema ng estudyante ay pressure mula sa parents kasi mataas ang expectation ng magulang na dapat mataas ang grades o dapat with highest honors. So, ang ituturo ni teacher, turuan kung paano mawala ang pressure. Anong strategy? So, pwedeng kausapin ng mahinahon ng bata ang kanyang magulang. Proper communication. In this way, the student will have the opportunity to develop his or her capacity to resolve the pressure and the confusion. So, empowering siya. In option C, talking about life stories and problems cannot guarantee the development of the student's capacity to resolve pressure and confusion kasi passive yung dating. In option D, we can do this of course, but it will deprive the student the opportunities to develop his or her capacity to resolve pressure and confusion. Shortcut na. Diba? Okay, which is empowering? Alin dyan ang sagot mo? And the answer here is option B. Good job. Alright, next. Number 9. The following are strategies for enhancing or building one's self-esteem except one. Develop and learn new skills. Give and accept compliments. Take chances and try new experiences. Talk to yourself positively. What's your answer, teacher? All of these can enhance or build self-esteem, but the least that can build self-esteem is option B. Give and accept compliments. Number 9B. Number 10. Adults, parents, and teachers are role models for a child. This means that one should try his best to A. Set a consistently good example. Say something nice to the child. Tell the child to obey the rules. Reinforce the child's expression. What's your answer, teacher? Well, obviously, the answer here is option A. If we consistently set a good example, we become role models for a child. In options B, C, and D, we don't clearly see the modeling here. Okay? Number 10, option A. Number 11, you believe in the role of teachers in building the self-esteem of your students. Which of the following should you not do? A. Be friendly with your students. Be patient and attentive to pupils. Be consistently critical of your pupils. Be empathetic and encouraging. What's your answer, teacher? Bilang kasangga sa paghubog ng tiwala sa sarili ng mga estudyante, alin ang hindi mabait na opsyon? Kung mapapansin mo, options A, B, and D are very nice. Nagpapakita sila ng kabutihan ng guro sa paghubog ng self-esteem maliban sa option C, nakabaliktaran. Kapag palagi tayong critical sa mga estudyante, yung parang tayong pulis na nakabantay sa mga pagkakamali na nagagawa nila, malamang mas bababa ang kumpiyansa nila. So the answer here is option C. Number 12. What could best help school-age children develop their sense of competence and industry? More opportunities for work so they accomplish more. Reinforcement from their parents for every accomplishment. Personal satisfaction for and pride in their accomplishment. Strict rules to follow for better accomplishments. What's your answer, teacher? The answer here is option A. I explained this already in set 1 drills. Please revisit that. Number 12, option A. Number 13. According to the Humanistic Theory, the basic motivation of life is striving for actualization. It implies that one works hard to improve his or her personality. One works hard to develop potentials to the optimum. One works hard to satisfy his or her needs and wants. One works hard to maintain his or her way of life. What's your answer, teacher? The answer here is option? Yep, option B. In humanistic theory, actualization means developing our potentials as much as we can to the optimum. The answer here is option D. Option A, C, and D are also important in humanistic theory, but option B captures or encapsulates the best answer. The answer is option B. 14. Which strategy can bring awareness of what we think, feel, do, and also gives an opportunity to get in touch with oneself? A. Affirmation, centering, introspection, disclosure. And the answer is right. The answer here is option C. 14, option C. Nilda is one of your friends. She requested you to give her some feedback so she can become a better person. The best you can do is to give her information on how to start her plan to change. Information to help her become aware of herself. Information on how difficult it is to change. Information on how you struggle. And your answer, teacher, is, again, as discussed in set 1, our first move should be aiming for self-knowledge in order to become a better person. The answer here is option B. After becoming aware of herself, Nilda may start drafting her plan to change. What does she want to change? Anything that she has to change. Those are discovered in the process of knowing herself. So option C may not be necessary here. Option D is okay. It should end in a positive note. The answer here, number 15, is option B. Number 16. Edna is a very shy person. However, she realized that it is important to disclose oneself to others. Which of the following would be the result of if Edna decides to self-disclose? She will be better understood by others. She will gain more friends. She will be more careful. She will gain self-confidence. What's your answer, teacher? Again, self-disclosure is a process of communication through which a person reveals information about himself or herself to others. Now, as a shy person, Edna will gain self-confidence. That's option D. Consequently, she will be better understood by others and eventually she will gain more friends. But as a very shy type of person, she will gain self-confidence. And the answer is option D. The key to personal growth and success is to begin with assessing oneself, begin with an end in mind, enhance one's intelligence, assert one's feeling and opinion. What's your answer, teacher? All of these can help us towards personal growth. To kick off your personal growth, what should you do? First, begin with an end in mind. Diba? Diba, personal growth is already an end in mind in itself. Then, you assess yourself in reference to your target goals. You examine what you have, what you need to do, etc. Kung ang goal mo ay pumasasalit, then, you assess your situation now. Nakapag-file ka na ba sa PRC? Kailangan mo ba mag-review, etc. So, the first is goal, and then assessment, and then enhancement, and so on. So, the answer here is option B. 18. People may differ in their hierarchy of values. Which statement below best explains this statement? A. It is natural for a person to prioritize his or her needs. There are different ways in which people develop themselves because of differences in motivation. There are variations in the way people perceive things and events. People vary in the way they give importance to things or events depending on their philosophy of life. What is your answer, teacher? The answer here is option D. When we say hierarchy of values, it means the level of importance that we attach to things or events depending on our beliefs, cultural framework, and even motivations. So the answer, number 18, option D. Number 19, the Johari window is an effective tool for introspection because it allows the person to examine himself or herself with respect to others' expectations in order for him or her to satisfy what others like him or her to become. Validate his knowledge about himself or herself against others' perception and recognize his or her other potentials for development. Project through a window what he thinks others should think about himself or herself. Discover what is in the store for him or her in the fourth window, which we call dark area. What is your answer, teacher? The Johari window, developed by Joseph Luft and Harrington Ingham in 1955. It is usually used as a framework for understanding conscious and unconscious bias that can help increase our self-awareness and our understanding of others. So this framework has 4 windows or quadrants. The first one is the open window or open self. So anong laman niya? So those are all the aspects of ourselves, our motives, our motivations, knowledge, behaviors, and skills that are familiar to us, and we are happy to share this with other people. The second window is the blind self or the blind area, blind spot. So these are some of qualities or characteristics or behavior recognized by others, but we don't recognize them. Usually when we ask or when we receive feedback, those in the blind self can become those of our open self. So nalilipat sila from blind to open kapag nagbigay ng feedback yung ibang tao. A very good values education teacher can bring those qualities from blind self to open self. So trabaho natin yan so that the students may have opportunity to change them if they are not good qualities or behaviors. The teacher should consider the personality type of the students in order for the feedback to be effective. So ingat din tayo, ha? The third window is the hidden self or hidden area. So the hidden self represents those parts of us that we know about but we hide from others. Mga sekreto natin sa iba, no? This could range from insecurities to hidden agendas. Yung mga introvert na tao, they have a strongly developed hidden self. Yung mga estudyanteng introverted. So hidden areas can cause mistrust, misunderstandings, and poor communication. In values education, we encourage self-disclosure about the hidden self, but it should be done carefully so that the students do not feel forced to reveal information about themselves or be judged in any way. The fourth window is the unknown self. It is the deepest layers of our being, unknown to us and unknown to others. Di nila alam, di rin natin alam. This is the most challenging window or area to understand, and it tends to be more prevalent sa mga kabataan na may limited na self-awareness and experiences. Tanong, can we know this unknown self? Ang sagot, capital Y-E-S. Of course, yes. Kaya natin niyang madiskubre. When we are placed in a particular situation, halimbawa, or when we experience particular issue, those things in the unknown usually come out unexpectedly. Halimbawa, dahil sa demand sa school or sa trabaho, na-discover mo na may talent ka pala sa pag-TikTok, sa pagkanta, sa pagsayaw, o pagpapatawa. Kasi demand kailangan. Ganon din naman, may negative things din na pwede nating ma-discover when we are placed in a particular situation. Halimbawa, pwede mong ma-discover yung mga repressed feelings and emotions tulad ng galit, inggit, takot, at iba pa. Lalo na kapag may mga trigger points na nakikita or naririnig. Halimbawa, narinig mo lang ang salitang ina o ama o pamilya, naiiyak ka na o mabigat na ang damdamin mo. Mga trigger point. Parang sa baril, di ba? Ang trigger o gatilyo, kapag nakalabit, puputok ang baril. Ganon din kapag may mga trigger point tayo na naririnig or nakikita or na-experience, apektado talaga tayo. Pumuputok, sumasabog ang ating emosyon. Halos gustong sumabog. Ang mga ugat at dahilan nito ay maaaring makita sa unknown window kung susuriin at pagninilayan. Sabi nga ng iba, narinig ko yung professor ko dati sa psychology, yung mga panaginip daw ay pwede silang mga indicators kung ano yung nasa unknown self. Yung mga panaginip, pwede rin silang maging paraan para mas malaman natin yung mga nasa unknown window. So watch out kung ano yung mga napapanaginipan natin. Kasi lumalabas sila pag unconscious tayo. Parang nagpaparamdam. Ganon. Makakatulong ang pagdiscover sa unknown window upang lalo natin maintindihan kung bakit tayo affected ng mga trigger point. Bakit tayo magagalitin? Bakit tayo mahiyain? Bakit maiksi ang pasensya? And so on. Sa values education, napaka-importante na mag-ingat tayo sa pag-explore ng fourth window ng mga estudyante kasi baka hindi tayo handa sa mga maaari nating marinig at malaman mula sa kanila. Make sure na you are prepared to handle and process the self-disclosure of the students. So going back to item number 19. What's your answer, teacher? Sa option A, you don't want to do this. Hindi ka nabuhay para isatisfy ang kagustuhan ng ibang tao para sa'yo. Kasi mayroon kang sariling isip at pagpapasya sa buhay. Sa option B, validate o i-confirm ang pagkakakilala mo sa sarili kung kapareho sa pagkakaunawa ng iba at makita ang iba pang mga posibilidad sa paglago. Itong second part, okay ito, recognize other potentials for development. Yung first part, okay din naman. Sa option C, pwede itong mangyari pero hindi natin madidiktahan ang ibang tao kung ano ang iisipin tungkol sa atin. Pwede tayong mag-behave in a certain way para ma-project natin kung ano ang iisipin ng ibang tao, pero hindi lahat ng tao ay mapapaniwala natin kung hindi totoo ang behavior. So, pwede pero hindi ideal itong option na to. Sa option D, madiscover kung ano pa ang mga nasa unknown window. I think the best answer here is option D. Kasi kasama na sa madidiscover natin yung other potentials natin for development. Pati na yung validation ng ating self-knowledge. Kumbaga sa level, the option D is the highest level of exploration when we do introspection. It is going to the deepest part of our being. Going to the core. Please take note that the fourth window is not totally unknown. They can be known or discovered through introspection. At yung mga binigay ko pang example na pag may mga trigger point, pagka nalagay tayo sa mga sitwasyon, di ba? Desperate time calls for desperate measure. Sa Eastern philosophy, ang tawag dito ay meditation. Sa Christian tradition, ang tawag dito ay contemplation, yung introspection. It's the journey towards the innermost core of our being. If you are interested in this beautiful tradition of contemplation, you may search for Saint Teresa of Avila, her 7 mansions. Trinay ko tong basahin noon pero sobra ang lalim talaga niya. Pero it's beautiful. Magandang spiritual exercises ito. Yung kay Thomas Kempis na Imitation of Christ, napakaganda rin niya na contemplation na material. So, in number 19, the answer is option D. You got it? Very good. Number 20. Developing a reflective attitude means being critical about what is bad about something. Focus on both external and internal forces. Essence-oriented rather than form-oriented. Peaceful and gentle in thinking and speaking. What's your answer, teacher? Number 20. What is reflective attitude? It's about understanding the deeper meaning of things or experiences. It's going beyond what the eyes can see. Reflective attitude is like an X-ray. It goes through the physical layers and it gets to the substantial part. So what's essential is invisible to the eye. So the best answer here is option C. Essence-oriented rather than form-oriented. 20, option C. 21. A spiritual person is able to relate to his or her creator, fellow men, and the community. Which of the following expresses a similar concept? A. One who is spiritual is one who knows how to pray for him or for herself and others. Moral orientation leads to spiritual orientation. A spiritual person not only has religious, moral, and political conversion. It is more difficult to become a spiritual person. What is your answer, teacher? Here, you just need to do the parallelism and you will easily find the answer. We have creator, fellowmen, and community. You cannot find these three keywords in options A, B, and D. But in option C, you have religious for creator, moral for fellow men, and political for the community. So the best answer here is option C. 21, option C. 22. Which situation below demonstrates a good strategy for self-development? Mina highlights her talents in math and resents her teacher's feedback about her reading comprehension. At the end of each day, Susan examines the good points and the bad points about her interaction with her teachers and friends. Conrad believes that he knows himself better than his friends do, so he does not really mind whatever they say about him. Rodel compares himself with others and resolves to imitate their ways of doing things. What's your answer, teacher? Let's use some keywords. Self-development strategy daw. Ano ang the best? In option A, Mina resents. Ano yung resents? Nag-resent ng message. Resents her teacher's feedback. Sumasama ang loob. Diba? Sensitive. Sumasama ang loob ni Mina kapag nagbibigay si teacher ng feedback tungkol sa kanyang reading comprehension. Siguro medyo mahina ang reading comprehension niya. So, nag-feedback si teacher, sumama ang loob niya. In option B, examines. Susan examines the good points and bad points para itong examination of conscience at the end of the day. An example of reflective attitude. In option C, he knows better than his friends. Keyword natin dyan. Medyo may kayabangan ang dating dito ni Conrad. Wala siyang panahon para makinig sa mga feedback ng iba. X na ito dapat, ha? Kasi hindi ito magandang strategy for self-development. Tandaan sa values, mabait at dapat maganda ang ugali. Yun ang tamang sagot. In option D, resolve and imitate. Hindi rin magandang strategy yung ikukumpara mo yung sarili sa iba. It will just cause either stress or kayabangan. Rodel resolves to imitate their ways of doing things. What things? Maganda ba or di maganda? Hindi na mention. It can be implied that all things regardless if they are good or bad. So, ang magandang strategy for self-development ay option B. Ang pinakamabait. Yeah. Okay. Okay, push pa natin. Number 23. Feedback could be an effective tool for self-development if done properly. Which of the following strategy is not effective for self-development? Feedback for self-development is preferably given when solicited. It is important to prepare the receiver psychologically before a negative feedback is given. Positive and negative feedback should be studied very carefully by the receiver and determine points for self-enhancement and improvement. It is better to ignore the feedback when the sender is not a friend or an acquaintance. What is your answer, teacher? Ang feedback daw ay epektibong paraan o kasangkapan sa pagpapalago ng sarili, lalo na kung tama ang paggamit nito. Alin sa mga sumusunod ang hindi epektibong paraan sa pagpapalago ng sarili? Option A, ang feedback ay ibinibigay lalo na kung hinihingi natin ito. Halimbawa, sabi mo sa financial coach mo, Coach, laging ubos ang pera ko after sweldo. Halos allowance lang natitira hanggang sa sunod na payday. Anong dapat kong gawin? Then, si financial coach naman magbibigay ng comments or feedback sa'yo kasi hiningi mo. So, you solicited feedback. Okay ito for self-development. In option B, importante daw na psychologically prepared or ready ang isang tao bago natin ibigay ang negative feedback. Importante ito, teachers, para hindi maging offensive ang dating natin. Pwedeng gamitin ang sandwich technique. Halimbawa, good feedback, bad feedback, good feedback. Sa school halimbawa, may estudyante na may body odor. Hanap muna tayo ng good traits before you fire the bad trait. Halimbawa, alam mo na mahusay-husay siyang mag-basketball, ang daming humahanga sa'yo na sa paglalaro. Sabihin mo, alam mo, ang husay-husay mo mag-basketball, ang daming humahanga sa yung husay sa paglalaro. Siya nga pala, payong kapatid lang, gusto mo bang gumamit ng deodorant? Kasi medyo naamoy ko. Pag pinapawisan ka, medyo di magandang hangin dahil sa body odor. So, yun na yung negative. O siya nga pala, sa sunod na game, galingan mo pa kasi ikaw ang nagdadala sa team natin. Iba kasi ang husay mo sa paglalaro eh. Malakas mag-rebound at sharpshooter. Sa example yun ng sandwich technique. Good, bad, good. So we end on the positive note. So option B is a good strategy for self-development. Okay yan. In option C, dapat daw pag-aralan ng receiver ang mga magaganda at di magagandang feedback at tukuyin ang mga punto na makakatulong sa pagpapalago ng sarili. In option D, mas mainam daw na wag na lang pansinin ang feedback lalo na kung galing ang feedback sa isang taong di naman nating kaibigan o kakilala. So option A, B, and C are good answers and the option D is the answer here. It's not effective for self-development. 23, option D. 24. Getting in touch with oneself is an essential step in self-development because one is able to prove whether others' observations about oneself is true or not, relate more effectively with one's thoughts, feelings, desires, and goals, imagine various facets of one's decisions, control oneself with respect to resisting temptation. What's your answer, teacher? When we get in touch with ourselves, we can do all of the options A, B, C, and D. But the best answer here is... You're right. Option B. Good job! Number 25. The following are strategies for enhancing or building one's self-esteem, except 1. Develop and learn new skills. Give and accept compliments. Take chances and try new experiences. Talk to yourself positively. What's your answer, teacher? Actually, lahat ito ay may direct and indirect effects for building our self-esteem. However, the option B has the least effect as a strategy for building self-esteem. So the answer here is option B. Number 25, option B. I would love to see your score down there at the comment section. Kindly hit the like button if you get 15 points and above. And hit the subscribe button if you get 20 points and above. So, that's the first part of our drills, set 2. Thank you and see you in the next video.